What's good? All right, so I'm watching the Rideshare Professor, and it says Lyft rider was chatting with friends, then someone texts her what they said. Lyft stalking. Well, first and foremost, I don't understand the lady that went to the news and everything. I guess she just wanted some clout. First and foremost, I wouldn't have anybody videoing me, but it is what it is. So she claims that after her ride, she was text messaged a transcript of the audio that went on in the video. And I mean, inside the car that she was in when she was taking a Lyft ride. Okay, so my problem that I have with this is so what? So what? Stop being a whiny baby. I don't even know why the professor, I like the guy, but I don't know why he's on here whining as well. Talking about the class action lawsuit and all of that. Okay, so sue Walmart. Sue Walmart because they got cameras in the parking lot. They got cameras inside and everything. You don't know if they are recording audio or not, okay? But there's tons of places where they are recording audio. They are recording what's going on and everything. But we need safety features for, first and foremost, if Lyft is recording audio of the rides, guess what? People would stop because they know that Lyft is recording this stuff. People would stop disrespecting drivers. People would stop being inside of your car and saying, hey, stop over here. It's only going to take me 2 minutes. And you telling that person, hey, can you please add it in the app so my next passenger can be notified? Can you please add it in the app so I can be paid for it? Stops cost money. And people are sitting here arguing with you, and then they're sitting here talking about, well, I'm going to report you because I paid for this ride. You didn't pay for your stop. You paid for a ride. It's a non-stop ride to your destination. You can't tell a Greyhound bus driver to pull over here because you want to go shopping. And it's, man, that's why I don't understand why people are so ignorant. It's a freaking safety feature. All right, it's a safety feature. If a person sits there and says that the driver sexually harassed them, and they already got a transcript sent to them of the ride, you're talking about the driver sexually harassed you, but the transcript is showing that it didn't. So this is actually going to avoid a lot of people from making false accusations against drivers. So what the hell is the professor talking about when he's talking about class action lawsuit and that this is a problem? See, this is what happened when you a foreigner over here in the United States talking shit and you don't know what the hell you talking about. Shut it down, bro. Shut that bull crap down. You don't know what the hell you talking about. A lot of his videos, it really just piss me off. He has some good vital information sometimes, but other times he doesn't. And it's really idiotic. And this is one of those times where the dude just really pisses me off with the dumb stuff. Like I said, this being a feature, I love this feature. I fucking love it. You know why? Because I'm not sitting here trying to make people private clientele. Build your own platform. You want to talk about getting private rides and all of this other stuff? Go find your other platform. Stop trying to use Lyft and Uber as a platform to build your personal clientele. They did their marketing, okay? They put their marketing dollars in. And do not get me wrong, I am not sitting here trying to defend Lyft. I'm not going to be trying to defend Uber or none of that. That's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you are bitching and crying about this situation because it can interfere with your ability to create new private clients and stuff, private riders or whatever. So go on somewhere with that bull crap. Yeah, you went and got your LLC and bought multiple cars and you trying to build your business using them, which they use us. So I don't have no problem with the dude doing it, but don't sit here and say a feature that would be beneficial to keep drivers from being deactivated. Don't sit here and act as if this feature should not exist, because it should exist. Okay, first and foremost, that passenger, she probably has no say in this, because when they updated their arbitration agreement, it probably says that video and audio can be recorded and transcripts can be provided. Because when we register our dash cam, first and foremost, when we register our dash cam inside the app, see that right here? Your devices, these are the recording devices you've told us about. Once you add a device, we'll let passengers know it's present. So here's the thing. The rideshare professor, shut the hell up. The passenger, shut the hell up. Because we can record video and we can record audio. Kick rocks with that class action bullcrap, professor. Look, run and do a lawsuit when it really matters, when it really counts, when it can really be effective and help people. Don't sit here and try to talk about run a lawsuit when it's actually, if they were to win and they were to take away our ability to record in cars, we'd be even more screwed. We would be even more screwed. She may have received this information, the recording, the transcript before. What if the reason why she received it was because she's tried to report drivers for sexual harassment? So now they're recording her rides in certain cars so that it can avoid her from saying that drivers sexually harassed her, drivers did this and drivers did that, because she falsely reported too many people. And this is why they're recording the audio and provided the transcripts for her. But again, like I said, as far as I know, by law, you have to let somebody know that you're going to be recording them before they get in. Because I remember before I had a situation and I told Lyft I wanted to send them the video, the dash cam footage. They said my dash cam wasn't registered because I listened to this idiot. Sorry, professor. Some things that you say is idiotic. But I listened to you. Don't register your dash cam. Don't register your dash cam. They might be able to tap in and watch what's going on, and then you can't make your private clients. They can use that against you. Dude, stop all of that bullcrap. You have to register it. They notify the passenger before the ride that there is a video and or audio that will be recorded during the ride. Now, if something goes wrong, the driver can submit that footage to Lyft and or Uber. They can submit it to them and they can build a case around it. Now, you don't register it, you can't use it. You can't use it. Why do you think that everywhere you go, it's posted up that video and or audio is being recorded? Why do you think they have signs? Nobody that is planning to catch a criminal wants to post signs. They don't want to do it because it just creates smart criminals. Criminals that look for the cameras first. Okay? Some people are just idiots. They don't look for cameras. They don't look for any audio recording equipment. They don't look for none of that. But when you got signs up, they start looking. They start planning on, seeing where the stuff is. That's why a lot of people, they case banks, finding out where all of the cameras are, what kind of system they have, yada, yada, yada. So, again, I don't understand why the professor is always doing this stupid, idiotic stuff. Why? Because you're so focused on trying to bring these companies down that you're destroying safety features or attempting to destroy safety features. If you are not having inappropriate conversations with passengers, why would you be worried about whether the conversation is being recorded or not? If you're not trying to illegally obtain customers, then why is it that you are worried about the audio equipment? Yeah, I get it. You want to say, oh, well, it's not illegal. First and foremost, you're teaching illegal bullcrap because 99% of any video or instruction that you give on how to build private clientele has to do with Lyft and Uber passengers in your car. So the highest percentage of it has to do with you trying to convert their passengers over. All right? You don't see the owner of McDonald's walking into Burger King or Burger King owners walking into McDonald's and say, hey, leave out of here. Come to Burger King. We got a better deal. It's flame boiled burgers. You don't see people doing that. Yet at the same time, that's what you are doing. Why don't y'all that want to sit there and say, well, I want to be an independent driver and I want to build my own private clientele. Why don't you get some signs put on your car and ride around town until you obtain that? Get some business cards, hand them out to some corporate businesses, and until you obtain your customers. Not trying to talk your passengers into the stuff. Again, my thing is, I don't care if you do or don't, but don't make videos trying to say that this is wrong and this is bad, when you know damn well you got a camera in your car, which records video and audio. But you're mad because Lyft provided a transcript of the ride. And here's the thing. We know it's Lyft. It's not the driver. How do you think the driver, after a ride, can text a passenger the entire transcript? First and foremost, we do not have the ability to text any passengers after the ride. We don't have that ability to text them or to call them. So I don't understand the bullcrap that's going on here. We don't have that ability. We can report that we found an item, but it's the passenger that has to reach out to us in order for them to activate that and allow us to be able to correspond with that passenger. So they already have these other features. If we call the passenger, they're not going to see our number. Our numbers are spoofed. So they see a fake number. They can't call back that number. It's going to say that that number is no longer available because the ride is over with. That's whether the passenger calls or the driver calls. Only way to get in touch with somebody as a driver is to, or as a passenger, the only way to get in touch with somebody after a ride is to report something that was lost. Otherwise, you're not going to get in contact with anybody. But I don't know, man. I know the professor guys has a large following. A lot of people that follow a lot of these YouTubers, a lot of the people that do that, they're just bitter. And I'm sorry if you disagree, but you're just bitter. You got some problems with the app. You love watching videos where other people have similar problems. And the professor can't believe, I don't think the professor believes the bull crap that he's putting out. I don't think he does. But he knows that he's going to get a lot of views if he just says some stuff that is negative. Things that drivers worry about, things that drivers agree on. So he attacks Lyft and Uber a lot. And I have my issues with them too. But what I won't do is I won't post a video that's cited towards they're all negative companies. Because I know that the biggest issue that we have as drivers, it's the insurance company. It's not Uber and Lyft as much as a lot of people think. It's insurance companies, but the professor ain't talking about that. Because most of the drivers are not thinking about it. They're thinking just that these companies are real screwed up. Not talking about the investors as much because they're just trying to blame the CEOs and not the real culprit, which is the insurance companies. I wish that he would stop doing stuff like this. He has 44 comments. Let's go in the comments. Let's see what's going on. Lyft blaming the driver for this is a new low. Lyft support has lied several times to me. The driver should sue Lyft for false accusations. Been driving for Lyft and Uber 8 years. It's virtually impossible for a driver to send a recorded transaction through one of Lyft's private numbers. And mind you, after the ride has ended, definitely a Lyft screw up. And in case Lyft fashion, they threw the driver under the bus. This should be a automatic class action lawsuit. There is no class action lawsuit here at all. And yeah, that would be the thing that Lyft did that was wrong, trying to throw the driver under the bus. Because again, there is, like this guy just said, there is no way for us to contact the passenger. They already made sure we can't do that. But the only way that you are going to be able to do it is the one that I talked to you about before, which is to file that somebody lost something. But, however, that's through the app. You can't talk to them. You can only send them a message. The passenger then now, once the passenger responds, that window of communication is now open. So, again, like I said, this was definitely not the driver. This could have been somebody hacked into the Lyft system, an employee trying to pull a scam. We know that their call center is over in India, and India's number one business that creates money is scams. So with that being said, you can't really, without an investigation being done, point the finger at Lyft. You definitely can't point the finger at the driver at all, unless the driver has some sort of device that will put it in the comments, which we only get up to 1,000 characteristics when we send a note after the ride, which that note actually goes to Lyft. But even if we were to try to text that passenger right at the drop off, drive a few doors down before ending the ride and try to text the passenger, number one, when you hit the call button, well, no, actually, yeah, you can still text, I think. But even if you did and you tried, you did have some little device that typed out all of the whatever was said in the comment section, and you tried to paste it in and send it to the passenger, man, you know how many pages that would be versus whether this was an email or not. But if it was a message inside the app and you had a long conversation, like I said, I don't think that it's possible on the driver's end. This is something that Lyft was doing, and they may have made a mistake because they have approval to do it in some markets, but maybe not in Canada, and they made a mistake, and they lost control, and the transaction was printed out. But like I said, at the end of the day, this is a great feature. It is not a bad feature. It may be a feature that we want to be able to turn on and off, like the rideshare professor, who probably doesn't do rides that often, or maybe every blue moon, like every 4 or 5 months. I don't know. But being able to turn it on when you need it, that's really great. I know for me, for instance, I don't care. I don't care because I'm not doing anything in any of these rides against Lyft policy. I don't believe that Lyft policy is 100% accurate. I don't believe that it is what it is, and I believe that some things need to change. Meaning that passengers, before they can even get in the driver's car, there needs to be a checklist. Is the account holder going to be riding? If they check that they are, and we get there and it's not Sarah, it's Big John, all right, we can go ahead and we can hit a button, record the person coming out to the car, take a picture or whatever, and we can go ahead and mark them as a no-show. Submit the footage to Lyft and keep on rolling. Versus somebody saying, I was about to cancel. I told the driver to cancel because the driver looked high or the car smelled like weed. And now they're trying to get their money back, but the driver ends up getting deactivated. I don't understand how the professor and as well as other drivers will sit here and complain about being deactivated. And when they create features that would minimize deactivation of drivers, you all are negative about it. You're going to attack them. Like, when do we separate ignorance from being idiotic? When do we separate the two? Because we got to separate the two so that we can actually come to a consensus on what is good and what is bad. Y'all not separating the two. Y'all not separating the two at all. And certain statements, it can be a contradiction. You want more safety features, but when they create a safety feature, you're against it when it can affect you from making money. It makes it impossible for the false accusations to happen from passengers to drivers or drivers to passengers when there is a transcript. When they're able to say, hey, before you go and contact the lawyer, read this. Is this it? Make sure you got everything accurate before a driver tries to go and hire Gig Rocket to plead a case when the driver was wrong. Maybe that's why the professor is sitting here doing all of this negative bull crap. Maybe it's because he sees it as a threat to hurt or interfere with his whole association with Gig Rocket. Either way it go, still stupid. It can still be you because it's going to minimize who you're helping. You want to help people that are good, people that are doing the right thing, not people that are doing bad things, and you're supporting them just by fighting for them. All the while, those people were wrong. They were wrong. Again, it may seem like I'm trying to defend Lyft. It may seem like I'm trying to defend Uber or whatever and all of this stuff. Again, the people in society, it's just like when you walk into a store and they have cameras. It doesn't bother you if you're not a thief. It doesn't bother you if you're not a thief. It only bothers a thief. It only bothers people who may not be thieves now, but at one point in time, they did steal just to put some food on the table, just to put some food in their belly. They did steal. But they only stole because they were too embarrassed to go down to the soup kitchen and get a meal, or go to any one of these churches when they have an open pantry and get food. But you wasn't embarrassed enough to walk into the Walmart and grab items and stuff it into your jacket or your purse. Wasn't scared about it. And look at this one right here. Lawyer up. What are you lawyering up for? I don't understand. What are you lawyering up for? You telling her, the lady, to go lawyer up, or you telling the driver to lawyer up? And what is the driver going to lawyer up for? The false accusations, the fact that they threw the driver up under the bus? Was the driver deactivated? If the driver wasn't deactivated, because I don't see any names being thrown here, pictures or anything like that. But was the driver deactivated? If the driver was deactivated, then yeah, I don't think that they need to lawyer up. They need to just pretty much say, hey, I seen the YouTube footage or the news footage of the situation. You can reactivate my account now because you know that that's not what happened, whatever. I don't know. But I know one thing, yeah, the driver definitely wasn't the one to do the transcript. I have gotten messages as the driver, congratulations, we have selected you to share your audio and video with us. And then it says, yeah, no, thank you. Okay, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. I'm sorry, and I apologize if you see this video and you don't like the fact that I called you an idiot. But fact is, the statement is not that intelligent. Because, again, the big question is, why do you have a problem with sharing your video footage or audio? Why do you have a problem with that? What are you doing in your car while you're providing a service for this company that you are afraid of them getting that audio? You sound creepy. You sound really creepy. That's why, like, if you're a passenger and you get into a driver's car and they have a dash cam, but you don't see anything in the app that was a notification that audio and video is being recorded to you, that's very creepy. It is very creepy. Like, why are you trying to get visual footage of female passengers and or male passengers, whatever? It's just creepy. It's creepy. You can't use that. You can't use it to get back on the platform. You can't use it. They won't even look at the footage. They're not going to view the footage because it was never told to the passenger. I think they should view the footage because they're not using it in court. They're using it to make sure that the driver didn't do whatever it is. And it's part of the investigation. So now they can say, hey, we investigated it. We found out that the driver was not at fault, but you have a great day. You ain't got to say nothing else. This is pretty much, you can have a great day. The driver wasn't at fault or whatever. But it is what it is. Like I said, watch the professor's videos. As you can see here, I am subscribed to his channel. Not to try to attack him or anything like that or whatever, but if I do see something and it's messed up, I'm gonna say something. Whether I make a video or I comment on his page, I prefer not to comment because he has a following and he knows what how everybody feels on his page with his 80,000 K subscribers. He knows how everybody feels. And so he knows that if he says things a certain way or implies them, then they're gonna agree. And this gets people in the comment section. He's good for that. He knows what he's doing. That's why it says Lyft rider was chatting with friends. Then someone texts her what they said. Lyft stalking? Question mark. So he could have worded it differently for attraction, but he could have started that video off as Lyft is recording your conversations during rides, and this would make a lot of people click on the video. Lyft chatting with friends. Lyft rider was chatting with friends. People are going to read that first sentence and stop reading. If they don't know him and they never watched his videos, 9 out of 10, they're going to stop reading at that point. But if he wanted to actually make it to where people would read, he could start off as Lyft is recording your conversations. It's plain and simple. It's just like a lot of things that people say, it just doesn't make any sense. Like they think that Lyft is going to use the dash cam footage against you. Yeah, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, if you're trying to cheat people and sexual harassment and all this stuff, yeah, maybe used against you. But if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and you're following the platform policies, community guidelines as they put it, then you don't have anything to worry about. Anyway, video at this point is a little bit longer than what I anticipated being for, but I will say this, that if you are watching these videos, please try to think consciously. Don't run to the first thought in your head. Question what they're saying. And think about the law, think about the feature, like in this case, the particular feature, and whether it will be beneficial to you when you have someone in the back seat who is asking you to make a stop and you know that you can't. Or you have someone trying to get into your car and that individual doesn't have a car seat, or that person has too many riders. That audio equipment will keep your account from being deactivated because you can talk to a representative. The representative will look at it and possibly reactivate your account same day, within an hour, versus taking weeks or days. I think that Lyft is listening to drivers and they figure, if they have these transcripts or audio, then they would be able to get drivers back on the road a lot quicker. And if that is their case and why they're doing this, people need to shut up. They need to shut up when it comes down to this. And I'm talking about the drivers. If the passengers feel wrong, how about you shut the hell up during the ride? Because at the end of the day, here's how this works. How can you sit here and say that you have a problem with the conversation being recorded? Why? Because strangers are going to hear your conversation? Isn't the driver a stranger? Isn't the driver a stranger? So what you worried about if your conversations are being recorded? You worried about corporate. You worried about saying something in one of these rides that can have your account deactivated. You worried about something entirely different because the driver is a stranger. I don't want to hear the bull crap that passengers are talking about, especially these young ones. Man, I get really annoyed. I had young females in my car one time, and they sitting there talking about giving head, and the dude broke up with them and all of this other stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that bull crap. I have a daughter. She's not their age, but I worry enough about the way that women and other people are raising their kids in society. because kids will cling to the parent that is the easiest, the parent that allows them to get away with stuff. So when I get these passengers in my car and they're talking like this, it really annoys me. It really does. And if I could use a audio recording against them and say, yeah, I put them out for inappropriate behavior, inappropriate language, then I would. But at the same time, I know it's not going to get processed quick enough. I know it's not going to get processed quick enough for me to avoid a deactivation unless I have a 60% driver score. And I'm not about to maintain a 60% driver score just so I can talk to somebody, because sometimes it takes up to 24 hours for them to have your account reactivated either way. Appreciate you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. But also at the same time, I really, if you're negative and you feel like, okay, well, they shouldn't be able to record audio and everything like that. If you want to comment, you can, but I'm not going to agree. I'll never agree. I think that at the minimum, we should be able to hit a button. Passengers can hit a button. And this is what I don't understand. And this is two-sided for this woman right here. Because they have that feature where if the passenger is feeling uncomfortable with the conversation that the driver is trying to engage in, they have a button to hit and they can record. Nobody said anything negative about that. None of the passengers are saying anything negative about that. Oh, it's not fair. We shouldn't be able to record the driver. They should be able to tell us how big our breast is and how sexual their booty is and everything or whatever without being any consequences because of audio. Ain't nobody saying that. But you got a problem because you were in the back seat talking stuff. And honestly, I'm just saying, this lady probably is Indian, and 9 out of 10, the driver didn't know what the hell she was saying anyway, English or not. I'm just sorry. Sometimes people, depending on how strong that accent is, you can't tell what they're saying anyway. That's just, so you know that's all audio on Lyft's end. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.